Okay, welcome back to a video. In this video, we are going to be watching if the Minnesotans were charged for their crimes, and I believe this is up to the latest one. Like, I think this includes episode 8 into it. I think this person does it for every episode, but also, I don't think it's specific episode, they just add on the crimes. I did react to this one around episode 2 too. I reacted to the same creator. I'll leave a comment to the original video down below. I reacted to one literally like a year, almost 2 years ago. And I think it was just like episode 2 and stuff. And this one should be cool, I think episode 8. So yes, and if they release on episode 9, maybe I'll do another one for this videos. But in general, if characters are charged with their crimes, and obviously Jack's way in there from the family like Pomni and Kane. Also, obviously Kane, I don't know why Pomni would, but Kane. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And maybe I'll defend them, but although the one that will probably be hardest to defend is probably Jack's. Kane might be defendable, but Jack's, he's my favorite character, but probably not best, probably not the easiest to defend in any way. Anyway, let's get into it.
What if I told you that Jax committed crimes that would make any judge and jury's blood run cold? But Gangle was too much even for Jax, because when she gets mad, her methods can be terrifying.
Oh yeah, episode 4.
Digital Circus is a place for fun, but underneath the colors, the visuals, the glitches, and the absurd adventures lies a place where trapped humans are slowly losing their minds, all while going on crazy adventures. And of course, in a place like that, there will be crimes. So today,
yeah.
We're counting the crimes of all major characters.
Okay, so all the main characters.
Focusing on villains. And we're using real-world American laws to calculate their punishment. Let's start with the so-called non-evil characters. Pomni, Gangle, Kinger, Ragatha, and Zubul are stuck in a virtual reality game in which they don't want to be. They aren't evil. Jax is another separate case. But in a place like Digital Circus, the difference between good and...
By the way, I will say, this is made by the same creator who made the last video. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that video from there. This is way better than that video from last time, like the way it's put up, so it feels different, like a different creator, but it's, you know, the same. I think they apparently changed from the comment, they apparently changed their voice to their real voice, instead of like I think an AI voice or fake voice, because of YouTube system or something.
Evil is often questionable, so let's count the worst crime of all these good characters, and
I feel like Kane and Jack's gotta be the worst, realistically.
Killed other players.
Okay.
Sure, it was a game, and they didn't really die, but it still counts as murder. Her sentence, 25 to life.
Okay, that's why Pomni's here. I think there's other stuff too, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Honestly, I didn't think about that. My defense, they were basically forced into the win. Let's be honest, Kane gave them guns. What are you gonna do against Kane, huh? Nothing.
Pomni total, 25 to life. And Gangle tortured Jax when she was his manager in the fast food adventure. She didn't just make him do extra work. She also performed some type of brainwashing on him, trapping him in a dark room where he was...
In my defense, this could be payback for Jax consistently bullying her, discarding her. It's just... I want to say self-defense, but you get it.
First to watch the video guide on how to be a good employee. Her crimes would be false imprisonment and psychological torture. If she was convicted, she'd be looking at 5...
Hey, when Jax came out of there, all he looked like was bored. Let's be honest there. Jax looked only bored. Like, I'm gonna be honest, in that episode, I thought that moment would change, like, Jax, at least for that episode, and obviously after I was snap out of it. He basically came out and bored. He did the work, but he came out just being bored. Nothing really happened. I also was like crazy was about to happen.
10 years. Let's count it as 10. Gangle total, 10 years.
Okay.
Ragatha probably didn't do anything wrong, except when she took one of Jax's lives. But that was self-defense.
Yeah, okay, self-defense, yeah, I thought so.
No charges. Zubul shot Kinger with a sniper, so she gets 25 to life as well. Zubul total, 25 to life. And Kinger took Zubul's eye, which can count as theft and mutilation. Enough for 10 years in prison. But were those Kinger...
Is it considered theft though? The mutilation, sure, but theft? Like, come on.
There's only crimes? In the circus they were. But what if all these...
Technically, it was by Kane, and Kane came out without it.
Before ending up in the circus. Let's explore those possibilities slowly. Kinger total...
Oh, whatever. Kinger technically out with Trampill here, so... I mean, not Trampill here, but creating it, so, yeah.
10 years. Lloyd Queen is the final boss of the first episode. She is a royal figure and queen of all Glynconians. major crime, theft of Zubal's body parts.
Okay.
Zubal is disassembled and carried away piece by piece. Now, even though this is a digital body, we are treating it as a legal person with bodily autonomy. Therefore, this isn't just ordinary theft. It's a mutilation and theft of essential body parts, which also makes it an assault, because removing someone's limbs qualifies
Could you
as
say
physical
public
harm.
indecency
And Zubal
too,
obviously
I guess?
experiences distress and loss of function.
I'm not
The
defending the
Queen
wrong thing, I don't get
incorporates Zubal's body
I
parts
don't-
into herself, and that makes it an aggravated
It was programmed by Kane, okay? So, you know, controlled.
assault.
Don't know how it would
It's a
work in real
serious
world.
and degrading injury. For theft, which we can count as body parts theft, she would be looking at 6 to 30 years in
Okay.
prison. And for aggravated assault, 2 to 20 years. We can count it as a 10-year prison sentence. But the thing is, Gloink Queen is just an NPC villain, and as such, she couldn't really be charged for her crimes.
Yeah,
Legally,
non-playable
the
character, man.
responsibility would fall on her creator. It's what we call defective product liability. So, her sentence would be attributed to her creator, Kane. And the Queen isn't the only.
Technically, Kane has a credit too, so technically, all of Kane's crimes, if that is the thing, would go to Scratch and Kinger combined. They worked on Kane, and every crime Kane caused technically should go to them. I'm just bringing it up now.
NPC villain that's
And
part
the
of Kane's
other
absurd adventures.
people.
Running count Kane, 10 years. Gummy Goo is another. He is the boss of a gummy bandit group whose task was to steal the candy cane.
I'm gonna go on the assumption this is gonna go to Kane too, because he's an NPC, and Kane did kill him too.
Kingdom's maple syrup for his village. And our protagonists were there to stop him and his brothers. But Gummy Goo had a special story. He wasn't an ordinary NPC. He was the one who discovered that it was all fake. Because when the crew started chasing them, something unexpected happened. In an attempt to lose them, Gummy Goo drives onto a side rocky road and ends up falling into a canyon, which causes the two trucks to collide, sending Gummy Goo and Pomni flying into a rock that clips them into the void. When Gummy Goo awakens there, he discovers duplicate models of himself and all the realm's inhabitants. Needless to say, this deeply disturbing experience crashes his entire reality, and he falls into a complete existential
I would too, to be honest.
He then arrives and reveals that he and his brothers are actually NPCs. Gummy Goo's crimes would include grand larceny and reckless driving. For grand theft, he'd be looking at 1 to 10 years in prison, and for reckless driving, up to 1 year. Combined, if he gets charged and convicted, we can count it as a 5-year prison sentence. But just like with the Queen, these
Not
crimes
bad.
couldn't be attributed to Gummy Goo because
Yeah,
he's an
Kane.
NPC. So once again, Kane takes the fall. But of all the NPC villains, there was one whose voice alone would send
Disappearing
shivers
guy.
down your spine. Running count Kane, 10 plus 5 years. Baron Theodore
That's disappearing guy, though.
is a well-mannered, aristocratic spirit.
Oh, we're giving Kane.
Calm manner. While he
Hey, we're giving Kane all these. These are outside his control. That's like saying if this was done by real world, that's like saying adult, and for an adult, their parent should be involved. Their parent should be what's the word? Should be. I can't think of the word. Should be responsible for their child's crimes. These are technically Kane's children. Technically, if you want to put it that way.
his estate was attacked by a creature that haunted him for years.
Well,
He slowly became paranoid, and while
I
trying
am wondering if they will say that all Kane's crimes will go to Scratch or Kinger, because they are Kinger and Scratch are basically people who developed Kane in a way. So I am wondering if he will include that then. Who knows?
kill the monster, he accidentally mistook his own wife for the creature and shot her, turning her into a ghost. The Baron eventually killed the creature, but it continued to haunt him. At some point, he realized that the creature was actually an angel, and his punishment for killing it was being sent directly to hell.
Technically, that person has already been punished, so technically it doesn't really matter. He's been punished, literally sent to hell. So technically, that doesn't matter. Also, the guy's dead, shouldn't be judged for his crimes. Let's be honest.
The Baron's main goal was to take someone's body because he needed a living host to escape from hell. Because of that, he manipulated Pomni and Kinger, making them believe they needed to kill the creature, hoping to take their bodies once they were sent to hell. His crimes would be double murder, reckless endangerment, and enticement to commit murder, since he manipulated Pomni and Kinger, trying to make them commit a crime. Combined, the minimal outcome would be 25 to life. If someone
well, is it committing a crime killing and I guess killing an angel would be, but killing a monster? Like, no.
Be charged for the murder of an angel. Let's count it as a 30-year prison sentence. And
He's dead.
Course,
he can't pretend.
Yet another NPC. It's on Kane again. But the next character wasn't an NPC. His avatar in the game was a clown, and he lost his mind to the point to where even the Joker would be.
Is it gonna like be the abstraction Cosmo? I'm assuming that's the only thing that I can think that will like Cosmo will be on it for. If so, he has no control over that technically.
Scared of him. Running count Kane, 10 plus 5 plus 30 years. Kaufmo was a human player. In the beginning, it's revealed that Kaufmo has abstracted in his room, having gone completely insane while thinking about the exit. In his abstracted form, he went on a rampage, attacking
Isn't there like a law, or at least something that like if you're like too insane, it technically can be like pushed over? Obviously, depends on the crime, probably, but he's insane at this point. He's gone mentally insane.
After Kinger informs Kane that Kaufmo had abstracted, Kane places him in the cellar with the other abstracted circus members. Kaufmo's crimes would be assault, attempted murder, and destruction of property. These crimes could be enough for.
Hey, how do you know he attempted to murder them? He could have easily just been assaulting them, okay? Doesn't really make it better, but like,
however,
doesn't make it worse.
Action is what in the human world would be considered
mentally insane.
Mental collapse.
Yeah, okay.
In a court of law, this would fall under the insanity defense.
I feel like
So
it depends
in prison,
on said
he would be
crime.
sent to a psychiatric institution.
Yeah, but that's like, if you've ever seen the Batman, that's literally what Arkham is. If you've ever seen Batman, that's what Arkham is. But like, I feel like it probably depends on the crime. If you're like too insane, you're getting sent there. I don't know how the institutions of that work, but yeah.
And these charges could result in 10 years in a mental asylum.
Yeah.
Kaufmo total,
Only 10 years
in a mental asylum. And now,
Before I became a dad, I realized
I know an
I can't just
advert,
keep it going
apparently.
because it wasn't just my future anymore. Like my
the one truly lovable character you've been waiting for. Jax was funny, careless, and chill most of the time.
I will say, I'm saying this just because I still don't know how people in episode 2 thought, like, I don't know if you remember, in episode 1, Jax was obviously easily, people, in episode 1, you should have realized Jax was going to be a jerk. In episode 2, when he was actually fully a jerk, people were surprised. It could also, like, I don't understand how, but, like, because literally, he was a jerk throughout the whole episode. I don't know how people thought he wasn't going to be like a jerk in episode 2. He's a favorite character, by the way,
At the
by
same
far.
time,
But
many theories suggest that he just might be the villain, and his list of crimes is enough to prove that. But what if Jax committed a crime far worse than anything you've seen on screen?
I'm gonna assume it's the him running over someone theory because because of those flashbacks.
But let's go from the beginning.
There's no evidence for
Starters,
it. You can't.
assaulted Gangle and Kinger, and he assaults people a lot, just for fun. So Jax may not be a typical villain with an evil agenda, but he's definitely evil.
ladies first.
By the way, he puts on here assaulting like NPCs or whatever. That is bull because would you be sent to prison for playing a game? No.
No, wait, why would I say that?
And he never misses a chance to assault and use someone. And of course,
It's very
he gives
Pomni, to be
crazy
fair.
excuses for his behavior. Like this time when he allegedly just needed a bridge. So these are 3 counts of
He did
assault,
need a
and
bridge
this
foot.
is just the beginning. Because Jax isn't the innocent vegan bunny, but a deeply inconsiderate and
Is he?
abusive
Oh.
character. Not long after.
He said vegan bunny, right? What's
So
that?
these are 3 counts of assault, and this is just the beginning. Because Jax isn't the innocent vegan bunny.
Yeah, episode 5. Okay, I thought that reference.
An abusive character. Not long after pushing Pomni out of the truck, he fires his weapon at one of the elevator bandits, which can be counted as
He actually just fired a shoe. Like, if I threw a shoe, I guess it would count as assault, wouldn't it? If I threw a shoe and hit you, would you count as assault, huh?
attempted murder. Later, he intentionally puts
Also, NPC doesn't count. Let's be honest here. They're NPCs. I know, like, sentient NPCs, etc., but they're still NPCs. Like, if I went into a game and killed a bunch of NPCs, would you count that as murder? Now, the difference is, I guess they're sentient, kinda, but would you count it as murder? My answer is probably not. So, I'm not taking that.
village in danger, just for his own amusement, by leaving the gate unlocked and letting the fudge monster enter the village. This can be counted as a crime against public safety.
they were also canopy. I don't know why, but my thing completely camera cut off, so I had to record that. It's not hot anything right now, so because of getting a bit annoying, but don't know why it cut off, if I'm being completely honest. I have no idea, but yeah, let's continue the video.
Never end with Jax, and his favorite target is always Gangle, because this is just
I will say there is a scene in episode 6 which will be hard to defend with Gangle talking about Jax's abusiveness.
Many times he attacked her.
From memory, of course.
His #1 psychopathic moment when he threw Ragatha in the deep fryer. This kind of brutal, aggravated assault alone would probably be enough to make the judge's blood run cold.
Yeah, but let's be honest here, that would be murder, but she's alive, so technically not. It's just, put something hot on her face.
Wasn't enough. He even had his own idea for an adventure, which included him shooting a red ribbon, which, according to him, is...
By the way, they're animals in that aspect. They are animals right there, so technically not murder, if you're thinking about that.
Endangered species.
Okay.
But it's actually just Gangle. For this
okay, endangered species.
The additional charges would be hunting an endangered species and animal cruelty.
Okay, I didn't realize it was endangered species.
But entering the White House with a bomb was one of those that sealed his fate, because that counts as terrorism. Then, of course, there's the baseball game.
Hey, he wanted to help to cut the wires for the bomb. So, I'm letting him free from that. I'm technically not, I can't really defend terrorism, but...
That's another count of aggravated assault.
Hey, he assaulted himself, that does not count.
When Jax gets a gun and is encouraged to use it, well, he will shoot everybody. And he'll try his best to turn others into cold-blooded killers as well. In this case, Pomni. So, can these be counted as murders? It was just a game, right? They didn't really die. Yes, but everything was a game anyway, so we're counting it. But many would agree that Jax's worst crime is not murder, not assault.
Technically, everyone in the circus has one crime, and that's attempted murder then, because they all were trying to kill people. So,
similar, but pressing that red button.
We know, but I'm pretty sure it's really theorized that Kane was controlling his mind there, or at least making him think he needed to stay. So technically, that should not count.
All of it was a game, they didn't know it, and he chose to stay in the circus and to keep all of the others locked in there with him. And this can be counted as false imprisonment and coercion. So the charges are at least 5 counts of assault, attempted murder, crimes against public safety.
I think it's lifetime in prison, right? Probably.
Hunting of endangered species, animal cruelty, 2 murder charges, terrorism, enticement to commit murder, false imprisonment, and coercion. The final result, if he is found guilty on all counts, would be 2 life sentences plus 100 years.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be living for 2 life sentences. Let's be honest here. You're gonna be dead.
What about his crimes while he was still a human? Well, if the fan-made theory is correct and Jax had a car accident...
Yeah, he killed someone. The thing is, my theory is that maybe this was Gangle. Of course, Gangle entered later than Jax, but she could have also been in a hospital or something. Realistically, or it could be Zubul, and they could have been in a hospital at least for a while, and then maybe someone gave them a headset. That's how they got into the thing. I'm pretty sure we had that backstory, someone talked about it, but maybe.
Which ended someone's life, then additional charge of vehicular homicide would bring another 10 years. Jax total, 2 life sentences.
Yeah, but we don't know if it was accidental or not. I swear, if someone runs in front of him, maybe someone ran in front of it, or the stop sign literally blinded him. It's not basically his fault there.
100 plus 10, and finally,
Kane.
Ringmaster himself. We could charge Kane.
Not gonna lie, I think Bubble should be on here, but you know what? I guess why not?
Imprisonment, but since he wasn't the one who created the circus in the first place, we'll let that one slide. But who created Kane?
Scratch.
Was he just the puppet of the mysterious puppeteers? Well, let's put him on trial and find out. And Bubble, his loyal assistant, is on trial together with...
Okay, thank you. Bubble needs to be on trial for him gaslighting. He was literally just manipulating Kane in this first half of the episode.
And since Bubble is constantly trying to link players and everybody against their will, the charges would be harassment.
Not gonna lie, I actually didn't think of that. Second of all, episode 8 actually made me like Bubble a lot. recent tier list video, I put him S. It was normally an A because of these funny guys consistently throughout the whole series, but because of that, he got an S. I'm pretty sure, which was really like.
When characters abstract, which means that they lose their sanity and break mentally, Kane doesn't prevent it. He simply removes them and locks
Also,
them
episode 7, I'm sorry, I can't defend Kane here, but episode 7, he basically said that, what is it, well, it was pretty touched on that, he messed with at least Scratch's mind.
In the cellar. That is criminal negligence. Kane is responsible for maintaining the system, and he fails to provide any form of psychological safety. Except for that time when he tried acting as a therapist for Zubul. He tried, and he failed miserably. And I know what you're all thinking. He erased Gummy Goo.
Yeah,
yes,
NBC.
And we can count that as murder. Even though Gummy Goo spawned somewhere else, it's still murder because Kane erased him from the digital circus. Kane's main crime, however, is the
That's not NBC, I don't think it counts, sadly. Well,
for entertainment. These so-called adventures produce hostile environments, aggressive NPCs, and situations.
okay, I think most of Kane's stuff is gonna come from episode 8, to be honest. And he's also dead, so you can't really charge him, man.
That gives us reckless endangerment. But the biggest charge of all would be unlawful human experimentation. Kane places humans into unpredictable simulations, exposes them to stress, fear, strong visuals,
Yeah.
and subliminals. And eventually, psychological breakdown is the result.
Makes sense.
All without consent. This can count as illegal human experimentation, which is heavily prosecuted under federal law. That one alone is enough to land 10 to 20 years in prison. And if that wasn't enough, Kane also directly manipulates players' minds, making them remember their traumatic past and forcing them to act according to his will.
Yeah, we saw that with Jax.
Could be counted as
There's not, like, there's
the charges would be criminal.
The only thing I can say for this, he doesn't have the mental state to be charged, but I don't think that would go well. Second of all, is recall. I wanted to thank Kane because he's a great character, but I don't know what to say.
Reckless endangerment, murder, coercion, and illegal human experimentation. And Bubble is charged for harassment.
Bubble can be charged for harassment. What I want.
Life in prison, plus an additional 20 years. And if we add those sentences from the NPC villains, that's life plus 65 years in prison. And for Bubble, 1 year in prison. Kane total count, 10 plus 5 plus 30 plus life plus 20.
Are you telling me Jax has a lower life count than Kane? In one episode, you can see Kane definitely made it way worse than Jax has ever done, at least in the series, what we've seen. You're telling me Kane has a less life sentence than Jax has 2 life sentences and 100 years. He has a life sentence and 60 years. I'm pretty sure. Or 65 years. How does that make sense?
Bubble total, 1 year. However,
Bubble should get a death sentence, I can't lie. I love his character and he definitely moved up. But like, yeah.
And yes, you're right. Kane and Bubble are AIs as well, so they wouldn't really be the ones responsible. It would fall on the people who built them. Kane's real punishment? He would be deleted, which is what happened in the show as well. But who's responsible for all
Scratch
these crimes?
and
C and A.
C and A, but like the only one we know that actually was doing him, C and A is Scratch, and King obviously helped, so both of them.
Responsible for the creation of the AI that would eventually be called Kane. Among those involved in Kane's creation were 2 programmers known as Scratch and King.
Okay.
So all these charges would fall on the company, its management, and the 2 programmers. Which means that Kinger, as the only known living employee of the company, would take the fall for all the crimes. Unfair, you say? Well, the legal system doesn't care about fairness. The whole case would need a person responsible for all the mess that emerged from the creation of Digital Circus. And that would be it. But if Kinger isn't the one responsible, and is instead just trapped there by the CNA Corporation, then the real villain is yet to reveal himself. And if CA trapped all those people, they would be responsible for many other things, like false imprisonment, deaths of previous people, mental breakdowns, and much more.
Makes sense.
And the main additional charge would be crimes against humanity. And
I'm not the biggest law person, so yeah.
Life sentences to those responsible. And that would be C&A, CEO, and the company's...
I do wonder if we'll actually see C&A, or is this going to be like a title we only hear about in the show, because we have an hour-long episode next.
CNA company upper management total count, several life sentences per person. And until the final moment comes and the mystery is solved, tell us your wildest conspiracy theories. Is the whole amazing digital circus deliberately designed to harvest human consciousness? Was Kane just a tool of whoever's behind that? Why doesn't Jax want to return to the real world? And what are his secrets? Let us know in the comments.
In general, really enjoyed that. A great video. Like I said, it'll be linked down below. Joe of them, I can't really disagree with any of them, to be honest, except from maybe Jax obviously harming NPCs, because NPCs are technically not real. Also, the NPC that Kane got crowns for before was also dead technically, so that it wouldn't make sense for Scratch not get any crowns, and obviously King getting all the crowns technically. So yes, but all in all, that's been a great video. Like I said, I reacted to this guy before, and the video has definitely changed compared to a year ago. But a great video regardless. I'll leave it down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. I might do another crimes video in general for maybe different stuff if this guy already does, or I'll search up stuff I actually obviously watch so I can go on and defend, kinda. But yeah. All things considered, a great video, and yeah, I've been uploading a lot of Minnesota stuff lately because I generally enjoy Minnesota, and I will get as much on it as I can before the Minnesota officially ends completely, because obviously the last episode is coming and it will be 2 weeks early in theaters, which I'm gonna have to try and really hard to avoid spoilers. Hopefully I can. I'll be doing my live reaction when that officially happens. I think I'll be away on holiday, so I will have to record there, but I might not record. It might come out a bit late. So yes, because obviously I want to record back being distracted, and it's an hour long, so I have to take breaks so my camera can cool down, etc. All things considered, I enjoyed the video. Without further ado, so you guys subscribe, do your stuff, and yeah, bye guys.